I have no idea what a lot of my answers are. Like, I can't... I've looked over them and I was like, I can't remember.
It's okay, we'll be fine, What's the worst that can happen? So today, basically, because Matthew is running out of ideas for what we could do for vlogs, the plan for today is to do a Q&A thing. Question Tuesday.
It's a Saturday.
Oh, I tried. Basically, the idea is that, like, a lot of the, like, things about China I feel I take for granted after having lived here. I don't really know what, like, the weird things or the unusual things are, because to me it's all, like, worryingly routine. So, we're going to ask Kay some questions.
What?
Oh, sorry, you're laughing. So, what's the weird, like, best meal you've had?
The best meal that I've had... Well, it wasn't a meal so much as a drink. I really like milk tea because it's, like, the best bits of, like, sweet English breakfast tea. And it's just good. And I'm going to learn how to make it when I get home because, like, well done. Well done, China. Okay. Congratulations.
What about the strangest you've had?
Oh shit, they have like, so the Chinese version of Walkers have cucumber flavoured crisps. And they, you know what, give it to them. They taste like cucumber, but whether or not that's a good thing, no.
Yeah.
I don't think.
They have like, what's the thing called that makes green tea?
Matcha?
They also have matcha crisps.
Oh, I do like matcha.
You don't like matcha Walkers. Like, again, like much like cucumber Walkers, matcha Walkers taste a lot like matcha.
I've had matcha cake. I like matcha.
Not on crisp.
Not on crisp.
Trust me. It's like cucumber.
Okay.
What about the weirdest, like the spice?
Oh, mala, right. So mala is numbing spice.
Literally translates to.
And Matthew really likes it. And I think it's so weird. Like, it literally makes your whole mouth tingle. We did have it for breakfast a couple of times. Once was accidental. But yeah, that's the weirdest. Mala's weird. I think nice. It tastes good. I think.
Okay. What about like the... Also, I'm going to ask you this question and I'm going to check if the camera is actually Wait. I'll check if the camera's actually videoing me or not. So there might be one cut in this.
Oh, I see.
What is the like most fun meal you've had?
The most fun meal?
Where do you stand on hot pot?
Oh, hot pots are so much fun. It's like all the DIY of like a good soup, but like a good broth. Or like, but like noodles and mushrooms and good. It was a good... Was that a first night meal or a second night meal? Second night.
Pretty early on, yeah.
It was second night because yeah. So that was a good shout all around. Hot pot, good. Well done.
Another good like weird food thing China does is this like fake meat.
Yeah. So like, being a vegetarian, I'm kind of used to like certain things that I eat vaguely looking like meat. But then China takes it to a whole new goddamn level. Like, I have not experienced the texture of meat in 5-6 years. And then I came here and it freaked me out. The chicken is so much like chicken. It's so odd. The shrimp, they like colour it to look like shrimp. So it's like banded orange and white. Wow. Weird.
And like all vegan or vegetarian. It's terrifying. Right. Let's check if I'm in frame. What do you mean am I going to edit this bit? Of course I'm not going to edit this bit.
And welcome back.
Turns out I am in frame.
Matthew takes no pride in his work.
Well... yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Okay. What about like touristy sites? What are the things that what would you not do again?
What would I not do again? The 798 Art District. That was like... Horse, tiger. Like, it was so-so. It was okay. I felt a bit ripped off at points, especially when I paid 90 kwai to get into, for 3 people. Yeah.
£9 for 3 people.
Well, it's, like, fine, but, like, it was one room, and then the free shop next door was better. So, yeah, like, it was just a bit, and I think because it was a Monday, like, things were closed as well, and, like, just after Spring Festival, so people were still, like, away, and I just felt disappointed, and it was very kind of commercial, and, like, yeah, not what I was expecting, I think, from the art district.
Definitely trendy once.
Yeah, was once trendy, and then got too trendy, and all the actual trendy people left.
Sorry, this is annoying me.
No worries.
There we are. Is that better?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Production quality? What production quality?
Yeah, like, yeah, once was trendy, got too trendy, and the actual trendy people left, and then you've got residue trendy.
What would you do? What was like the weirdest place you went there?
What did I say? Oh, the Forbidden City. I said the Forbidden City was the weirdest place I went because I think much like the Old Summer Palace, like the idea that there is a whole like literal city or literal world when you look at it, like that was just behind walls that like most people couldn't visit, that like the gentry and the royalty and whatever and the noble people made for themselves is like a super weird idea. Because we don't really have that in England. Like, there's, like, big gardens and things and whatever, and maybe you're not allowed inside Buckingham Palace, but they don't have a whole fucking city to themselves, you know? It's odd. It's an odd experience to walk into somewhere and be like, this is where the prostitutes lived. And you're like, oh, interesting. They were always behind walls.
The word wasn't prostitutes, it was actually concubines, so... No, but this is the interesting thing, in that, like, So religion plays a different role in China than it does in the West, in that China was predominantly like Taoist or Buddhist and then didn't have a religion, depending on which time periods you're talking about. But because of this, it was just like okay for them. It was very accepted for the emperor to have concubines. Like this is like mentioned in the Forbidden City, and there would literally be parades of like, what was it? Was it 14 to 16-year-old girls? And then the emperor would just be like, these ones will be my concubines.
They're prostitutes. If it quacks like a duck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just like, it's weird because like, while like kings and queens in England definitely like Henry VIII had a lot of illegitimate children, I assume other kings did as well, and because of like the prevalent role of the Christian church, like having relationships with people you weren't married to was definitely like under wraps. So it's just kind of interesting from a historical perspective, seeing like the different way of approaching it.
Yeah, like all the concubines like had their own quarters that were specifically for them within the like Forbidden City. So I don't know, the openness maybe was an okay thing, maybe.
Also, the fact that there's a lot more eunuchs. There's a lot more like...
There was a lot more eunuchs.
A lot more famous eunuchs.
Well, yeah, but were they in there because they were eunuchs? Like, you know what I mean? Because they could be trusted around the concubines?
Oh no, but if someone was like, Matthew, name a famous European eunuch, I'd be like... Whereas famous Chinese eunuchs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's just a lot more. It's just, again, like a slight discrepancy in the history. It's quite interesting. What places would you definitely go back to?
Oh, Summer Palace. That place was gorgeous. Like, the new Summer Palace especially was, like, unbelievably good. And Empress Sisi was, like, a girl. Like, she was my girl. She was so badass. Even if she did kill people for wanting to modernise China. You know, still a badass.
Fair. You can't win them all, I suppose. Especially not if you want democracy. Here one of the questions we've just got written is Matthew negatives, question mark.
So, he chews with his mouth open. He plays with his hair a lot.
I don't think we went
He wears the same jeans for like 3 months. He doesn't wash them.
That's not true.
Even when they are covered in hot pot and smell like hot pot.
I just really like hot pot. I just don't want to forget.
No, Matthew has no negatives as a tour guide.
This is untrue. That's not what you and Mum were saying behind my back all of us.
The point is that it was behind your back.
Thoughts on... We predominantly used, when going around Beijing, this, the Lonely Planet Beijing guide. If Lonely Planet people are watching this, I would love to work for you. This is not a paid sponsorship, but I wish it was a paid sponsorship. By Lonely Planet. What were your thoughts on Lonely Planet? Cheap and affordable. Cheap and affordable. I know, those are the same word. Cheap
delicious and flavourful.
Drinkable.
No, Lonely Planet is really, really good. I'm very pro Lonely Planet. It's very like a hole in the wall as well as like big touristy things. So you kind of get you do get like the touristy side of Beijing, which is great. That is what I wanted to see. Go to all the palaces and the parks and whatever. But then you also get like the first hot pot place that we went to, which is like small and like low key kind of grubby. But then you also get like a Vietnamese and French cafe, and you also get like weird expat bars and Chinese bars and just everything. So like people have this is like a person done travel book. You can really tell that it's like personable and good and looks out for the interests of actual travelers. Like just good. Well done, Lonely Planet.
We're a pro-lonely planet.
Pro-lonely planet.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. So what about like thoughts on what did you notice about the difference between like Chinese and Western culture? Like, granted, it's only 2 weeks, but conversations with Ivy.
Yeah. So, China has a lot less like immigration into the country. So especially around Spring Festival, there was a lot of like other Chinese tourists in Beijing, and a lot of these people, I think Matthew explained, like had just never seen someone who wasn't Chinese or wasn't like Korean or Japanese. So me being white and Matthew being white and Jill being white, there was a lot of pointing and a lot of like people looking at us and then whispering to their friends, "Look, foreigners." Like that's one of the words that I picked up in Mandarin is the word for foreigner because it was said around me so much.
外国人.
外国人,中国人. And people taking photos of us with and without our permission. Odd, very strange, and like what they did with those photos, I don't know. Do they show their friends? Do they put it on their WeChat moments? Are we really that special? I don't think so. Yeah, it was odd. So that kind of culture of like being was almost like famous, but like in the worst way possible because I haven't done anything but be white, which is weird.
Fame solely is a product of race and the rarity that then brings.
Yeah. It's odd. But they're all very friendly. Chinese people were all very friendly and they all just wanted to talk and they all just wanted to like, Matthew loves this because he loves chatting to people in Mandarin. But they all just want to talk and chat and they all just want to know where we're from and what we're doing and what we like and they all want to practice their English with us. So like they all say hello, which is lovely and it's really nice and it's something that you don't get as much like like the capital city back home is London. You do not get people walking up to you and being like, "Oh, hello," like it doesn't happen. So like, yeah, that level of friendliness in a capital city, really cool. I did like it.
I think, yeah, that is an interesting contrast to the West, right? Insofar as, I doubt there's an equivalent of this, where there are two like, non-white people discussing or two non-English people who don't speak English, discussing them having visited England. I highly doubt their takeaway would have been, wow, everyone wanted to practice whatever my language was.
No, not at all.
Like, whether that friendliness is a product of simply, like, of the novelty of like, because even when I ask people, and when someone, like occasionally when people get chatting, when they're like, so what sometimes happens is a mum will say to the 3-year-old child, "Look, foreigners," and then I'll make a joke out of it, and I'll say to like Kay and Mum in Chinese, I'll be like, "Look, Chinese people," and like sometimes they laugh and we end up chatting, and I'm like, "Oh, why did you say that?" And it's just like, "Oh, because we like this is a rare sight for us." So I don't know whether the friendliness is a product of like, look, novelty, or whether it's like genuine kindness. I don't know. I don't know whether to comment, but there does seem to be a lot of kindness here.
Mm-hmm.
But it does make an interesting contrast to just like if a load of people who didn't speak English rocked up in England, I highly doubt they would receive the same hospitality.
No, probably not.
What was your cuteness thing?
Oh, right. So this is the thing where I like China because girls are allowed to be cute in a way that they aren't in the West, or a way that's like condemned slightly in the West, or like seen as cringy. So, like, there's, like, grown girls in China with, like little fluffy birds in their hair, or, like, ears on their hoods, or they like, everything's cute, and everything's allowed to be cute, and it's not, like, weird for them to be cute in a way that in the West, like, I've said this a bunch of times, like, if anyone was dressed that way in the West, or, like, talked like some of the girls in China do in the West, like, it would be annoying, because that's just not what is done, and it's not what's seen as like normal. It's odd and it's weird, but like in China that's kind of like the norm, and I really like it because like I think there's a problem with like the over sexualization of like especially young girls in the West, and that's just not a problem in China. You can dress well and look nice and still be like cute and maybe conservative, like, or you could dress not cute and conservative and still be like fine, whereas like
I wouldn't even say I've seen that. Like in my time here, I haven't seen anyone in short shorts.
Yeah, fair, but it has been cold.
Well, that's but like even when I arrived initially.
Yeah.
I think like the interesting contrast here. So I think advertising is always an interesting thing to look at in a culture, because advertising is very literally like people trying to sell an idea to you. Like my favorite example of this is like if you ever watch a Dyson advert, it's always like a family. It's always a family of 4 who own a Labrador. And they always have a boy and a girl, and they're using the Dyson to like brush this, like to clean this immaculate house.
Yeah.
Like you're not buying the Dyson there, you're buying the lifestyle that the Dyson unlocks, right? So advertising is interesting for that, insofar as it shows the world that's like the ideal world that people are trying to sell.
Yeah.
So advertising in China is something I find really interesting because like it's just very much not sexualized.
Yeah.
Like if you think of like Hollister bags in England, it's all like topless guys, women in bikinis. Whereas I don't think I've seen a single like Chinese woman in bikini advert or topless guy adverts. And if they do exist, I might just have missed them. I would say they form such a small minority that I've just forgot. Whereas if you contrast it to the West, like if you walk on the metro, it's always like girls in bikinis.
Yeah, and it's like very, very hypersexualized. Like you can tell that they're meant to be sexual, whereas like the girls in the adverts in China are just allowed to look pretty or like just be cute and be happy, which is nice. It's nice to see. Like, yeah, it's a standard that just isn't forced upon girls in the East, which is cool.
So kind of like wrapping it up then, and yeah, just kind of like caveat to throw on this in that my experiences, especially Kay's experiences, only having been here 2 weeks, incredibly limited in that like my favorite quote about China is it is a civilization masquerading as a country, and it's like what 1.3 billion people. So do not take anything we've said to be representative of the place as a whole, but rather this is just the snapshot which is presented in 2 weeks or however many months of traveling. But otherwise, yeah, good trip.
Great trip.
You kind of have to say that at this point, though.
Great trip.
I am the one who makes sure Kay gets safe to the airport. So perhaps afterwards we'll be hearing the true turn of events.
What, you don't realise I've been blinking SOS in Morse code the entire time?
Well, all of the vlogs.
Yeah.
Mark Carver's going to go back and watch these now.